Hi and welcome to another ant vlog. I promised in the last video that I will show you a summary of the first year of my leafcutter ant colony. And the thing is, I changed my mind. This video has to wait. I will maybe make it later, but there was another project coming on. There was another thing going on that I want to tell you about today. It's also about the leafcutter ant colony. So it's not far off, but it's different. I've been interested in ants far longer than I'm actually into ant keeping. And the reason why I keep ants is so I can observe those creatures right in my house, right? So I was thinking about my leafcutter ant colony lately because of this channel, because I decided to feature them more often. And also because what happened recently with the fungus that was almost destroyed, and you know that the same thing that I said to you, that this is like a new start. And I was thinking about the colony and about having a new start for them. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I don't really like my old setup for those ants. The reason for that is that I have to show you my old setup. Show you some pictures here. Is basically it's the same setup that many other keepers have when they keep leafcutter ants. I started off with 3 containers. That's what is suggested if you start with leafcutter ants. 1 container as a fungus chamber, 1 container as a chamber for harvesting, you know, where you put the leaves in, and 1 chamber for the garbage for the ants. And that's actually what most leafcutter ants keepers start with, and in my opinion it's a very boring setup, but it works well for the leafcutter ants. They can flourish in this setup. And I started with this setup. Later on I added 2 more containers so they have more space to cultivate their fungus. And to make things a little bit more interesting, I added an external harvest area that I connected with a rope to the containers, so they had a chance to harvest leaves also outside of the nest. But when I thought about it, you know, the last few days, I realized this setup actually it's a really boring setup, you know, because you don't leave the ants don't have many choices. You don't leave them many choices. Either they harvest leaves in the harvest box, you know, that you prepared for them, or they travel along the rope, which is a very straight line. They cannot go left or right. They just have to follow this rope to the external harvest area. I just realized, you know, the reason why I keep ants is I want to observe them. I want to observe them, how they behave, how they take decisions, how they react to different situations, how they react to changes in the environment or stuff like this. I realized with this setup, nothing of this happens, you know. It's just the same thing over and over again. Of course it looks good if you see a whole trail of ants carrying leaves across the rope, but at the end it is not, there's no surprise in it, there's nothing, no discoveries in it, there's nothing special. It's just always the same thing. And I realized that most ant setups that ant keepers use are actually have the same problem, you know. Also, if you have a system with pipes, it's a predetermined path, you know. The ants have to follow this path, they have no other choice. You have an outworld and you have a nesting area, and it's all set. They don't really have a choice. And there's pipes connecting the outworld to the nesting area. Most of my setups are this way as well. And the more I thought about it, it's actually a very boring setup, because there's nothing special going on there. You will have the same thing again and again and again. You will feed them in the outworld. They will go there and harvest whatever they get. You know, they will get the food, the resources they need that you provided for them, and then they go back the predetermined path through the pipe or over the rope, like it was with my leafcutter ants, and there's nothing special going on. And I realized, you know, I need to change this, because it's getting boring, you know. It's always the same thing, and you don't really get the thrill of, you know, what's really the interesting part about ants, you know, because you predetermined everything, you know. You don't leave the ants any choice. Of course the ants can flourish in these conditions because everything is perfect, everything is set up so they can survive, but you don't get the same thrill like if you observe ants in the wild, where there are a lot of things to consider, where they have to make choices, where there's things going on that you didn't expect, or always unexpected things and so on. I thought, I want the same thing for my leafcutter ants. I want to be able to observe them and find out things about them and see things happening that I didn't expect, that I didn't plan, that they did by themselves. So yeah, I bought some materials, I bought a lot of wood, I bought a lot of stuff, spent quite an amount of money, and yeah, I started building. So yes, enjoy. This is my new setup, and it's basically a playground for the ants. It's a playground for myself as well. The nests are still the same, they're still the same containers where the fungus is. I didn't move the fungus out of the containers, but I disconnected the rope and I connected it to a new platform I created. The platform is 2 meters in length and 40 centimeters in width, and yeah, so they have a lot of space there. They have a lot of space to scout, to discover. I used sand, as white sand, as on the ground. I know doesn't really look very tropical. Brown sand probably would have looked more like a tropical area where those ants are native. But white sand is great because you can see the ants really well. On brown sand they're quite camouflaged, and I want to observe them, so I choose white sand. And the thing about this whole platform is, about the whole area, is that they now have choices. They now have the possibility to roam around freely. They can discover stuff. They can find stuff. I put different plants on different positions. I intend to put different food sources and stuff on the platform on different places. I will change things up now and again and see how they react to changes. They will always have things to discover and to roam around. And it was really a success right from the beginning. When I connected the nest to the new outboard, to the new area, the new playground for those, it took like 10 minutes, and then the ants started crawling out and swarming the place and scouting it. And so far I've always seen like at least 40 to 50, maybe even more, around 100 ants outside in the outside area. And it's already amazing within a few days, what I've already seen, what I've already discovered. Those ants are really, they amaze me. And again, I've already spent a couple of hours in front of this playground just observing how they behave, how they scout the area, what kind of leaves they bring in. The nest entrance is always busy. There are always ants going in and out, and then they have a whole area to scout, to get their resources, get leaves. I put in a little bit of honey as well, on a platform. In the past I already put some honey in the harvest areas as well, but they never liked it because they always, they don't like honey close to their nest, so they always cover it with sand. This time it's different, they swarmed around the honey, they took it in, and they already cut a lot of leaves. So the whole setup has been running now for 2 days, and they're cutting leaves. I think they're cutting even more leaves than they did before. I think the new setup actually activates them somehow. There are more ants harvesting than usual, and that's a great thing for the colony, great thing for the ants. And I hope you like that setup. Leave a like if you do, and give me a comment what you think about it, and what needs to change, or what we can do with it. There's a lot of possibilities right now, because we can experiment, we can do stuff on this platform. We have this platform, and if the colony grows, I can add more platforms. That's the great thing. I can add a second floor or something like that. that's just, there are amazing possibilities. So yeah, I'm really excited about this upcoming adventure in this new setup. Hopefully we'll have a lot of interesting observations together, how they behave, what they do. It's going to be great. Yeah, I really love the new setup. I hope you do as well. And yeah, if you like this video, please leave a like. If you want to see more like this, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. There will be more videos about this leafcutter ant colony, but there will also be videos about ants in general. So yeah, if you want to stay informed, subscribe, and yeah, see you next time.